Hi everyone, so following on from yesterday's video where I showed you some of my baby goldfish that live in my patio pond, I thought it would be a good idea to actually show you the pond and let you know what's in it and how I maintain it. So this is the pond. It's about 1 metre in diameter. It's a plastic above ground pond, heavy duty, really heavy. So it's okay to be above ground without any support structures around it. It contains about 200 litres of water, but I think with the substrate and the plants and the filtration, it's probably more like 150 litres. So the plants that I have, first of all, I'll tell you the substrate that I use. So some people don't like substrate. I do, because I just think it's more natural for the fish. Sort of a sandy, fine gravel. It's more natural for the fish, and it's, a lot more surface area for beneficial bacteria, so I think it's good. The plants. So this plant is a water ribbon, beautiful plant. Here we have lemon bacopa, which actually spreads out. It's a shallow sort of marginal plant. I've got it raised up in its pot here, and it actually spreads out over the water. You'll see in here I've actually got quite a bit of algae at the moment, but I've got a lot of fry living in there feeding off that algae, so I'm not going to disturb that too much. I'm just going to leave that where it is. This is one of my favourites. This is an impatiens. A lot of people don't realise that impatiens is actually a bog plant. It really loves having its roots in water all the time. I bought these impatiens seedlings from Bunnings. Didn't spread them out, didn't do anything to them, just put the seedling punnets straight into this. You see that? See, there's the punnets, and I just put them straight into this herb planter that I also got from Bunnings, which just hooks over. It's about 30 centimetres long, and it just hooks over the back here. Stuck that in there, and it's been like this ever since. It's been probably 5 months now that it's looked like that. There's a lot of root growth underneath here growing into the water, but I don't mind that because it's also good for the fry and the eggs. Over here we have a hardy lily. I'm not too sure that this pond is really the right depth for a hardy lily, but it's growing well, hasn't flowered, but its lily pads are looking really healthy. It's really important to make sure you remove any dead lily pads or flower buds if you see them, and that really promotes the new growth. And then that one over there is another marginal plant. I think it might be some sort of rush. I can't remember what that one is. This one is my absolute favourite. This is an Australian native called milfoil. This is the red stemmed variety. And it's a really beautiful plant because it grows across the water. As you can see, it's growing out here across the water. But then it also grows up out of the water on these beautiful stalks. And it really gives the pond a lot of texture and a lot of coverage for the fish. There's a lot of protection in there from the sun and predators. There's a baby Medaka swimming around. It's just really lovely. I probably will cut this back quite a bit when the weather gets cooler. I'm going to put a temporary greenhouse, very small temporary greenhouse over this pond. I actually have a heater in this pond because it does contain guppies, and guppies like slightly warmer water than it would get in winter here. At the moment, my thermometer's showing it's set to 18, and it's sitting at about 20 degrees. We've had a couple of warm days, but they quite like that. They're happy at that temperature. All the fish are happy. Now this here is, I call it my bog filter, but it's not really a bog filter. What it is, a bog filter takes water from the pond, runs it up via a hose and a pump through the substrate, absorbing all the wonderful nutrients from the roots of the plants, and the substrate take out all the bad stuff and the waste, and then the water comes out of the top and filters into your pond. This isn't a true bog filter because, as you can see, the water actually comes from the top, from that little bubbler. So it's sort of a bog. It sort of works slightly like a bog. It's definitely beneficial. There's lots of gravel in here, and there'll be lots of good bacteria in there, and it does seep down into there where the roots are and then filter out into the water. This is a water mint. Smells beautiful and keeps the mozzies away. Also needs a good pruning, I think. My filter is a pond one filter, just your standard filter for this size pond. Comes with a filter, pump and UV, and it works really well. The reason that I added the other so-called bog filter was to reduce the flow from this between the 2 points, because some of the fish in here don't. It was quite a strong water flow and I really wanted to lower that water flow. The heater that I'm using is an Aqua 1 quartz, 300 watts I think, or 500 watts, I can't remember. But anything that I reference, I will actually put a link to in the comments. So the fish that I have in here, we have, you can see them. Well, there's one of my male guppies. We have guppies. That's one of the Medaka babies, another one, bigger one. Those yellow ones darting around at the top there are golden white clouds. And then here on the bottom there, that grey one was one of my sneaky goldfish. And we also have, comes past, we've got Rosy Barbs in here. Female guppies, male guppies. I only have 2 adult Medaka. The female is currently somewhere carrying her eggs, or possibly depositing her eggs. She's over there. There she is. And the male is a beautiful platinum blue. Where is he? Anyway, the female lays eggs probably every day, maybe for about 3 or 4 days in a row, and then she'll have a couple of days break and then she'll start laying eggs again. It's really fascinating. So there's lots of fry in here. Initially, when I first found eggs, I removed them and grew the fry in a tank for a while. I then decided to put them back in the pond, and I've discovered that they actually grow a lot better, faster, better colours in the pond, and they're fine. They're doing really well. I've got lots of hiding places for them. They don't seem to be getting eaten by anything. Having said I've got lots, and I can't see them, but they're in there. There's loads of them hiding from me to make me look silly. Typical. They never perform when I want them to. There's one. Okay, as for maintenance and feeding, I feed twice a day. Tetra Goldfish fish flakes, which they love. They're all healthy. It's reasonably priced. Good product. Yeah, and they're happy with that. A couple of times a week, I will also give them some of this gel food. Now, you can't seem to find Rapashi gel food in Australia. I found this Australian company called Fuzzy Fox, and they make their own gel foods for fish and reptiles, I believe. This one is the Early Bites one for fry and fingerlings, but all my fish absolutely love it. It's a really big container. You mix up your powder with your water, put it in the fridge till it sets, becomes a gel, and then you just cut it up into pieces and stick it in your freezer. And I think it lasts in the freezer for about 4 months. Yeah, and all of my fish in all my ponds and tanks love this as a little treat every 2 or 3 times a week. When I refill my my pond, always condition the water. I use Aqua, although when this runs out, I may well change to Seachem Safe. I'm really impressed with the Seachem products, but for now, this is doing a great job. No complaints. Of course, I always add Seachem Stability. I mean, there's a lot of really good beneficial bacteria in this pond. You can tell just by looking at it, but it doesn't hurt to add some more. So with every water top up, I just give a little bit of this. And then once a month, I treat with this. This is only something I've just recently started using. I had a bit of string algae in here, and this has worked quite well, but you really do need to physically remove the string algae. You can't expect this to work on its own. You have to remove the algae and then treat, and it helps to keep it down. I've also been using this shade cloth to cover the pond in really hot weather, just to try to, because it is a small pond, just to try to keep the water temperatures down, and that's probably helping with the string algae as well. So yeah, as I said, all the products I've mentioned I will put in the comments, links in the comments, and yeah, that's my patio pond. Hope you enjoyed it.